apologies. I will request our administrator, committee administrator, Mr. Thabo Kekana, to please read out the apologies for the honorable members who are not here, who have indeed tendered the written apologies.
Good afternoon, Chair, and good afternoon to honorable members. Chair, I've received a few apologies from Honorable Member Albert, Honorable Member Hassan, Honorable Member Adams, Honorable Member Macheke, and Honorable Member Masilela. Thank you, Chair. And also apology from MEC. His running late will be here around 3. Thank you.
Our MEC is a very hard-working MEC. He will join us the session if the time and the traffic permit. Now, we are dealing with the matter related to the adoption of the agenda items, and we have a concrete item here related to the purpose of the feedback session. As the chairperson, we'll be able to get a brief overview of the purpose of the feedback session, as well as the mandate of the GPL Portfolio Committee. And the other item is the purpose to receive the presentation from the GDE, which is the Gauteng Department of Education, to be able to give us feedback on the committee's focused intervention study about the status of the technical school in the province of Gauteng and recommendation submitted by the Portfolio Committee. And I'm sure, as the brief background related to the committee focus intervention topics, on the Friday, 3rd September 2021, the Portfolio Committee held a virtual stakeholder engagement session discussing the FIS on the technical school and invited all principal school management teams and the school governing bodies to make an input to the Portfolio Committee. We must say that on the 17th and 26th of August of the year 2021 and the 3rd of September 2021, the Portfolio Committee undertook unannounced committee oversight visits to selected technical schools around the province of Gauteng. On Tuesday, the 21st September 2021, the Portfolio Committee presented its FIS report to the House, and all recommendations were adopted and submitted to the Gauteng Department of Education for the practical and urgent implementation and the response thereof. Today, honorable members and the people who are here before this hall and the department, the Portfolio Committee will discuss and receive from the committee stakeholders, as stated in the declaration of the precinct. All standing rules of the Gauteng provincial legislatures are in place, and all must adhere all present must adhere to those to them and respect. The fellow speakers, stakeholders are also urged to raise their hands and guided by the chairperson during the presiding sessions. So now it is an opportunity before, and therefore we'll get the presentation by Gauteng Department of Education. But before and again, the second last item will be question and discussions, vote of thanks, way forward and closure. I will therefore request the honorable members, both who are fiscal and as well as those that are on platform, to please move for the adoption of the agenda so that we can proceed, and subsequently we'll have the second.
I move, Chair.
The honorable member move. May I please have the seconder?
Second, Chair.
You'll also check for us for honorable members on the platform if they want to contribute. So therefore, the agenda is duly adopted. Now is an opportunity for us to give the opportunity to the department led for now by the Superintendent General. Please don't laugh. The HOD in the department is called the Superintendent General, Ndate Rufus Ramutla, Ramtlana to get the department to present and give all of you who are here feedback. Don't forget that you need to use the gadgets, headphones, to be, if you don't understand the language being presented, so that, as we said earlier, translation in Zulu, in Tswana, English, Afrikaans, Chivenda, Tsonga, it's available and has been confirmed. The opportunity, therefore, is for the department. And I'm sure the Superintendent General will advise who is going to lead.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson Chilizi Munyai. We welcome the warm introduction we received from you and your honorable members. We feel at home, Chairperson, within this particular committee. Chairperson, allow me to greet Dumelang Bagaetsho. Ke tshepa le siame ka jeno. Re lebogela gore le kopane le rona ka jeno go tla go utlwella gore rona re le ba lefapha re dira yang ka dikolo tsa rona tsa setekgeniki. Jaaka re le itse gore rona mo provinceng ya rona dikolo tsa setekgeniki re dira gore di nne le togamano e siameng gore kgona go tsweletsa pele dikolo tsa rona gore di kgone go direla setšhaba sa rona. Ka ngwaga wa 2021 committee ya rena ya education portfolio committee e tellang pele ha jana ke Ntate Munyai e kile ya re goetla gore re sekaseke ke manokeng e re e fang dikolo tse kgolwane tsa setekgeniki mo profenseng ya rona. Ka jalo ka jeno re fitlhe fano go reporta mo committee ya rona ya education portfolio committee le go bolella setšhaba gore re na re dira yang ka dikolo tsa setekgeniki mo province ya rona, including lefelo la lona la Krugersdorp. Mme ka jalo he re tlo fa report ya rona ka jeno re tlo be re sekaseka gape le ditshwantshiso tse komite ya rena e kileng ya re fa tsona ka 2021 re bona gore rona re le department respondile yang mo go tsona le gore re kgonne mo kae le gore paletse mo kae le gore ko re yang ko teng mo isagong ke ko kae. Ke a leboga modulasetilo. Ke rata gore ke bue gape gore mo gare a rona mona ga ke nosi ke eteletse pele boeteledipele ba lefapha la rona e leng di-DDG tsa rona. Re na le DDG Bodibe, DD Chani, DDG CFO Fankola, le di-chief directors tse leng teng fano, Ntate Baloi, Ntate Theta, Mme Mokgosi, le DDG Dora Moloi, le chief director CIO Sanesiwe Keso, and then other directors ba leng mona segolo e leng yena district director ya rona Jones Rajuile e leng yena a tshwereng tikologo ya rona ya district ele ya Gauteng West a dira ka tlasa Ntate Theta. Mme ba bang ba ba leng teng gape ba leng teng di-director ke bona ba bo Mme Sinat Miras le bo Mme Florence Ngumalo ba leng teng mona le bona ba tlile mona gore manokeng gore e re he re tlhalosetsa setšhaba jaana re na le lona re tlhalose re itse gore re tsepame re na le baeteledipele ba tshotseng marapo ano go re theta lobaka lo la gore dikolo tsa setekgeniki mo province ya rona di tsepame di kgone go lo direla Ka jalo, Chairperson, allow me, after having made those introductory remarks to the community, to allow Mayor Nikolai Antoinette to lead us with the presentation. Ke a leboha.
Superintendent General, maybe before you allow her, bagolo le utlwile gore Superintendent General o reng ka Setswana? Le a utlwa kere? Nimve kahle? Niyamuzwa bantu bakithi? Siyaphambili ke unikeze umuntu umama osebenza naye uthi present. Mara uzohumusha nilalele ngemshini ama headphone nizwe aninawo abanikeze nami ngicela nibanikeze abantu bakithi bakwazi ukulalela nabakhuluma ngesilungu bezwe ngesizulu bezwe kaSetswana bawutlwe kaSetswana bagaiso bagayo se ba utlwisisa hantle re a kopa ge gore supporting team ba feng batho ba rona di headphone nna ke di batli le fe batho ba rona ba kgona ho mamela sentle asibonga. You may proceed as directed.
Thank you, Honorable Acting Chairperson. Let me acknowledge the presence of the Acting Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, as well as all the members of the Portfolio Committee this afternoon, the SG of the Gauteng Department of Education, all the senior managers and officials from the Department of Education, principals from schools, as well as the most important, the community members that are here this afternoon. A warm good afternoon to you, even though we're getting a little bit cold. We are ready to present on the focused intervention study that was done on technical high schools, in our technical high schools, and we're ready to start with the presentation now. Our presentation outline is as indicated on the screen. We're going to give the background, the technical high school strategy, and we're going to indicate the context in which we operate, the landscape of our schools, the shared model, key components of our strategy, the verification of support provided. Let me stop and acknowledge.
As we said, we are waiting for esteemed honorable member Chilwane. I know the DG Olekelo Reforma Balangwe as an introduction. Now it's an opportunity for me to give the honorable MEC to please open up a meeting to our people. Then we can give the department, or you can deal with the conclusion. You'll advise us.
Okay, let them continue to.
Okay. I'm advised that they must continue to present, but MEC will deal with some of the input or conclusion later, after your presentation. You may proceed, please.
Thank you so much, Honorable Acting Chair. And let me acknowledge the presence of our MEC that have joined us. And thank you for allowing me to continue with the presentation. As I indicated, that is the outline of the presentation this afternoon. We are also going to give specific responses to the FIS report, where we have made progress and strides, as well as areas that we are still focusing on. We are also going to look at the recommendations that were made. As the Honorable Chairperson indicated, he reminded us that in 2021, there was the request for an assessment of support provided to technical high schools in the province. And then in August 2021, the committee undertook unannounced visits, oversight visits to verify the information that had been provided to identified technical high schools. And of course, a report was submitted in terms of the progress from the Gauteng Department of Education, and then the assessment of support was subsequent to the implementation of a technical high school strategy, which is meant to expand participation and to strengthen technical high schools in the province and focusing on skills for a changing world. So our strategy focuses on expanding participation by promoting and strengthening technical high schools, looking at getting learners ready for this changing world. So the first few slides, we're just going to emphasize the context. And obviously our strategy is informed by the Gauteng Department of Education roadmap, education roadmap. And then it's priority 6, skills for a changing world, and looking at a skilled and capable workforce to support an inclusive growth plan. We all know that in South Africa, we are currently experiencing slow economic growth and high levels of unemployment among youth or young people. So this is partly due to an acute shortage of skills in a number of key economic sectors. Given the current situational analysis of technical education, a concerted effort is being made by the Gauteng Department of Education to support technical high schools as well as schools that are offering technical subjects. So still part of the situational analysis, it indicates that there's low learner interest in pursuing technical and vocational career pathways. Technical careers does not seem to be regarded as attractive. The negative perceptions that are out there and the stereotypings about technical education, also the disparity between technical education and the needs that are current in industry, the mismatch of learners that are admitted to technical schools as cognitive demands of technical subjects are relatively high, the perception that technical careers are for learners who perform poorly in mathematics and physical science. So the technical high school strategy was developed and informed by the situational analysis. This is the landscape currently in the province. We have 113 schools that offer technical subjects, but of the 113, we have 11 schools that are fully fledged technical high schools. There are also 8 schools that are schools of specialization that focus on engineering, and they offer, so there are 8 of those schools. And then there are the 94 are the ordinary public schools that's offering some technical subjects. These 94 schools are not necessarily full technical high schools at this point, but the department has a plan where we are looking at getting these 94 schools where learners could start offering vocational-oriented curriculum subjects from grade 8. That's part of the bigger plan. So as part of the approach, we have what we call the shared model, and there's the interface, the department interface, the provincial department interface, and you can see the GDE at the center there. And obviously we are working and closely with the Department of Labor, with industry. We are also starting serious conversations with the TVET sector, and we are also interacting with HEIs, and obviously our CETAs are very important here. Then as part of the focus, the interface for the school, you see the technical schools in the center there, and there's a need for industry partners looking at the world of work, looking at future learning opportunities through FET colleges, TVET colleges, and HEIs, and of course, very key, the curriculum offerings at the technical school. So these are some of the key components that's part of the technical high school strategy. It's about attracting high potential learners and to increase learner participation. And also, of course, to improve learner performance in technical subjects. to promote the technical stream as well as to dispel the negative perceptions, promote technical subjects for careers in engineering and technology and as technicians and artisans. Also to improve functionality of workshops through modernization that is relevant to industry practices. To increase the human resource capital to teach technical high schools, it's one of the key components or areas, and to develop constructive partnerships with industry. So these are the 6 technical high schools that were visited by the Education Portfolio Committee, and for them to verify the assessment of support provided by the province. And the technical high schools are Dinoto, Bohoni, Jabulani Technical High School, Hoër Technische School Karel de Wet, Hoër Technische School Nick Diedrichs, where we are at today, as well as Wedela Technical High School. So now we will start off by identifying some of the areas that we need to respond to, and some of them are obviously ongoing. A number of issues were responded to by the department in that report of January 2022. However, there are still areas that's ongoing matters that we are reporting against. And these are some of the areas that we reported on and that we will continue to report on, including the refurbishment of workshops, security concerns, the insufficient workshops to support the curriculum offerings at these schools, the areas around quintile ranking of schools, the availability of the posts in terms of a district to support the schools, as well as other areas that we have to focus on. So, since the FIS report, we've made significant strides and some changes as a result of the following. We are very happy to announce that Treasury has made available a new provincially funded technical secondary schools recapitalization grant over a period of 3 years. Last year, we received the grant for the first time. There are 20 schools that are benefiting, 20 schools offering technical subjects, as well as some of the fully fledged technical high schools. And we are ensuring that through that budget, we are providing the necessary resources in terms of workshop machinery tools, as well as equipment to improve the environment at those schools and to support the development of technical skills. So we are excited about this grant. Last year, we started off by providing resources to the schools, and this year we continue to provide resources, but also to refurbish some of the workshops in these schools. And this is so that we can achieve, through the resourcing of the technical high schools, we can resource them with the high-tech equipment and machinery that's required in terms of the focus areas of specialization. This grant, that is the Technical Secondary School Recapitalization Grant, the main aim is to ensure that we ensure equitable supply and the latest high-tech machinery and tools for these schools so that we are able to increase participation as well as learner performance in technical subjects, and by addressing and redressing shortages of resources, especially in township and informal settlements. Our focus is on TISH. This will also ensure that the learners are able to complete the practical component, quality practical assessment tasks that is necessary for them to do well in the subject. And then, so that's the aim of the grant. In terms of the implementation model of this particular grant, I've already touched on it, but just to show you again that last year, we were looking at providing resources to the schools, and for this year as well as next year, we are continuing to supply resources, and we are also focusing on infrastructure, refurbishment, and maintenance in these schools. So that's just the summary for everybody to see. And then in terms of the implementation model, In terms of the resource provisioning, the process of giving the schools the necessary tools, we are on track. We are on track in terms of this current financial year. And then we are also focusing on the maintenance and refurbishment of the infrastructure that will be undertaken through the Department of Infrastructure Development. And another very key area in terms of safety and security, it's the installation of security cameras as well as the alarms through our internal directorate, safety and security. So those are three key areas. In response then to the Portfolio Committee's recommendations, we note the recommendations that have been made. And as I've said earlier, we have already closed on some of the recommendations and dealt with all of them, and some of them we continue to focus on. We have implemented a focused approach, which amongst others are the following: the refurbishment of the workshops, the security concerns, and issues around ICT and computer simulation. Those are areas that we are focusing on. So subsequent to the report, we have implemented a focused approach through this technical high school strategy. And now I will get into some of the specific areas that were highlighted in the report and give you progress from our side in terms of those. One of the areas was about promoting technical subjects for careers in engineering and technology and as technicians and artisans. So what we have done already, we've started with a career advocacy program that was actually conducted at grade 9 level. Because remember, at that level, the learners make informed decisions about subjects that they will continue with in FET, grade 10, 11, and 12. So we have done that already, and that was to create awareness and to increase learner participation in vocational subjects in the FET. A career guidance booklet was developed and mediated to all our grade 9 learners. 50,000 career guidance books were distributed in our schools. Science, we've had a science and engineering week focus, advocated for technical learners to attend science and engineering weeks and awareness programs around that. Engineering and Technical Week took place from the 27th of February to the 3rd of March this year at Saibono. This was a platform for learners and educators to engage directly with professionals in the engineering and technology field, raising awareness as well as exposing our learners to career and bursary opportunities, as well as various activities and products within industry. We are continuing to target our learners from grade 8 through to grade 12, and we are working closely with the entity Saibono in terms of that. A learner technical skills competition. Remember, we must get learners excited about technical subjects. So we also ran a technical skills competition where learners participated, and that happened in May this year. In response to expanding participation and strengthening of technical high schools through the approval of applications for schools to offer technical fields of specialization, we do need to say that we have approved an additional 2 schools who in 2023 this year, we have the Vaal High School as well as Villa Lisa Secondary School that we have approved for them to start to introduce those technical subjects. The 13 schools that's listed on the slide are schools that have now introduced additional technical subjects at their schools, and you can see the list there. I'm not necessarily going to read through the list, but there are 13 schools who, over and above what they were already introducing as technical subjects, they've expanded the subjects at their schools. In terms of expanding participation and strengthening, I'm not sure, sorry about that. In terms of the expanding the participation again, we're still talking about that. There are 9 schools that introduced technical mathematics and technical science last year in grade 10, and there's the list of the schools that have introduced that. We are supporting the piloting of the vocation-oriented curriculum, which is part of the 3 streams model in the province in grade 8 and 9. We are piloting in 20 schools currently. The 19 of the 20 schools are part of the 113 schools that I referred to earlier when I showed you the landscape. But as part of our plan, we want to expand the offering of vocational-oriented subjects from grade 8 level in all of the 113 schools. So that is part of our plan, and we're very excited about that because we can clearly see from moving from 11 fully fledged technical high schools, we would now have more schools offering the vocation-oriented curriculum, which beautifully articulates into the FET technical subjects from grade 10 to grade 12 level. So those schools that are piloting the VOC for us in the province, we are also supporting those schools by providing them with some of the resources that they require for those subjects. And of course, training of our staff at schools offering these subjects is a priority for us. Teachers, 29 teachers have been trained in civil, electrical, and mechanical, as well as that's as part of the vocational subjects. So in terms of improving the learning environment at these schools, by improving the functionality of the workshops, we are resourcing the schools of specialization, technical high schools, and identified schools that's offering MST subjects with modern industry-related machines and tools and equipment. And that is just a sense of how many workshops we were able to resource for the 3 specialization areas: electrical, mechanical, and civil. And you can see that we were able to already provide for 20 workshops in electrical, 30 workshops in mechanical, and 32 workshops in civil technology. For the PAT components, obviously, we have to make sure that our schools have the necessary consumables in terms of resources, as well as the tools and equipment so that learners are able to complete their practical assessment tasks. And that we have already dealt with. Increasing human resource capital to teach technical subjects. There's a big drive for us in terms of ensuring that the teachers at the schools and in the classrooms are capacitated so that they are able to offer the subjects. There are also bursary opportunities made available for teachers in technical high schools and schools offering technical subjects, also to improve qualifications in those fields of specialization. This slide just gives a sense of our teacher development initiatives that we have already conducted, and it gives a sense of, for specific subjects, how many teachers we were able to train and to conduct capacity building programs. For example, for automotive, we have trained 25 teachers, for welding 25, power systems 23, and I think the rest is there for you to see. All the numbers are there. 139 teachers have been trained in terms of engineering, graphics, and design, EGD. Then establishing public and private partnerships and to develop constructive partnerships with industry within the economic corridor. We have a number of partnerships that we are engaged in. For example, I'll mention a few: Umpakati Development and Training, as well as Gerberit. It's an organization that specializes in plumbing in the built environment. So we already have learners from these schools that are benefiting from the partnerships there. And learners are gaining skills, and they are also gaining part accreditation or credits towards further study. So we know, and the report also clearly indicated, I think with COVID, there were a number of partners that were on the cards, but because of the impact of COVID, we may have been less successful in following through with some of the partners because some of the businesses in terms of COVID may have closed down. We are working hard together with our partnerships directorates and all the other colleagues in the department to identify strong partners to be able to be linked to each of our technical high schools. So there's also Pakama Research and Development that has funded training for grade 10 learners in metal inert gas welding. We are really producing the learners with the skills to be able to become entrepreneurs also. So we have learners that have already qualified in terms of that. And then Modena Autodesk, another partner that you just want to bring to your attention, has partnered with us as part of our multi-certification skills program in basic computer-aided drawing, in CAD competency. And the schools are listed there. The learners from these schools have benefited from the partnerships. Obviously, we are working very hard to make sure that sooner than later, that every technical high school has a number of partners linked to them. As part of our multi-certification program linked to the technical high schools, for electrical technology under power systems and mechanical technology, we've commenced with a program this year in March, and there's about a 15-day training program for learners that they are participating in. 100 grade 11 learners, and there the breakdown is given on the slide, were selected for participation in this program, which is being introduced by Ekurhuleni Artisan Skills Training Center. So we're excited, but we know we still have a lot of work to do in terms of securing partners. In terms of still with the partnerships, let me just add the Sasol in Zalo, who has also partnered with us in the past and now again refreshed the partnership in terms of interprovincial learner and teacher technical skills competition. So they are also of the partners that we have. The Mersita obviously is one of our big partners. The manufacturing and retail SETA, Mersita, has also committed funding to us, and an MOA has been approved thanks to our MEC and your drive towards making sure we're investing in skills for the future. We are happy to announce that shortly we will have 11 schools that have been identified, technical high schools, that will be supported through the Mersita funding of about 55 million for this current financial year. 11 schools to benefit through at least a 5 million rand investment in each of those schools. Thank you. Thought we would all be excited about that one. So we did not necessarily include, because the money is not in our coffers yet. The money will be promulgated during the adjustment period, but we will be spending the money during the current financial year. And we are hoping that in the follow-up years, the Mersita will actually give us more funding, more than what they've allocated for this year, and I'm sure we'll be able to reach a number of schools in terms of the Mersita funding. So I thought it's important to talk about the Mersita. One of our biggest SETAs that's supporting us over and above the ETDP SETA that really supports us in terms of teacher development programs as well. These are some of the challenges that are still experienced in the technical school space, and we are trying to address some of these through our technical secondary school recapitalization grant, and of course through the funding that we will get from the MERSITA, but also through our other funding, through the MSD conditional grant, as well as funding from an LTSM perspective. Burglaries and vandalism at school workshops, we know that is a challenge. And then through our technical secondary school recapitalization grant, as I've said, for this year, we're focusing on the infrastructure as well as the safety and security. There are challenges around the sizes of the workshops in schools, vis-a-vis the number of learners that might offer these subjects. And that is why we are working with infrastructure directorates to focus on improving the size of the workshops. And then the capacity within the system, we are making sure that where the posts exist, that we fill those posts as a matter of urgency, because we need to have support in place for teachers, for SMTs at schools to be offering the curriculum. And of course the partnerships, which I think I have already touched on. I am at the end of the presentation, honorable members. If we teach today's students as we taught yesterday, we rob them of tomorrow. Let me just say that the presentation that we did this afternoon focused on a number of the areas that were highlighted in the report in the FIS. And we will continue to work on the other areas where we may not have had more success in. We have already started in terms of every recommendation that has been made, and we commit here this afternoon that we will continue to work with these schools to make sure that we are investing in our learners to have the requisite skills for the future. I thank you.
You may please appreciate the presentation that has been done through the clapping of hands, please. Now it's an opportunity for the communities to please seek clarity-seeking question. And I'm sure the honorable members saw the feedback. If there's any contribution they want to make, that will be also good. Ba bana le diputso ba ka botsa, aba bafuna ukubuza umbuzo kaloku bangabuza ngale xesha. IsiXhosa naso sivumelekile kaloku. IsiZulu, IsiTswana, IsiTsonga, wonke la malimi avumelekile. Bagaetsu kinako. May you please assist us to note the members? The community members, they are also members. Then I'll end up with us. Yeah, mmeka mo ya. Le ka emisa matsogo. May you please raise your hands so that we lintate ka mo morago a apere kepisi, lintate ka mo pele ga apara kepisi, o apere jacket navy blue. Yeah, le mme yeah, ba feletsa kere, yeah, in that order. O ka tswela pele mme.
Okay. Ke rata go dumedisa le go itumella go ba teng mo gare ga kopano ena. Ke nna mme Mary Selepe, ke tswa tulong ya Tembisa. I'm a community member. Ne kopa go botsa gore bjane ka ha go
Mme,
present.
le nna ke tswa Tembisa.
Oh, ke a itumela.
Ee, dumela.
Age ntate. Ke itumela hape le ho bona ntate Tshilwane. O ne a na le moredi wa ka ko UK. Ke na le photo ya gae. Ha o ne o le ko UK, my daughter o na le ena Mantwa.
Ee, mantwana tsamaya le MEC.
Now ke ne ke kopa go botsa gore mo dikolong tsena tse le boletseng ka tsona tse 113, then dikolo tse dingwe tsona na le tsona like go Tembisa re na le so many high schools, le tlo etsa gore le bona ba fumane di subject tsena tse le boletseng ka tsona. And again ke batla go itse gore na baruta bana le tlile go ba rwetlisa, le tlile go ba ruta gore ba kgone gore ba ithute go ruta bana, kgotsa le tlo introduce di subjects but to tell gore the teachers are not well equipped, or le tlo etsa re le ba take it through gore ba be able to teach those subjects tse le di mentionang. And then happen ke kopa botsa gore re tlo kgona go fumana this presentation, because we try to get notes so that we should go and report back. Unfortunately, the presentation was too long. So ke botse ausi are we are not going to get it. Ka bo ikokobetso bo bogolo re ne re ikopa or le re bolelle gore re ka ifitlhella jang. Ke a leboga.
Thank you, Mme. Maybe ke re latele ka ntate, re tla tla go wena ntate ka mo morago.
Angibonge mhlali sihlalo.
Igama
Thabiso Khadebe
oba Khatebe.
from SCDB region, representing a association okuthiwa National Association of School Governing Bodies, SCDB region. Ngifuna neto kuphawula mhlawumbe ngemaphuzu alandelayo. Ngokuqalisela, I think we must welcome a presentation esifumaniswa namhlanje department. Save just to highlight the following. I think we need to make a comment around one of the prerequisites. Okumele sizigcizelele kuzo kakhulu. We need to change the environmental conditions in our townships, because we can see all these efforts that are happening in terms of changing the education yethu ukuthi ibane nemiphumela right, but the environment ekhona. For example, I can make a mention in Sebokeng we've got Zone 13 Technical School. We've got your Umuhlodi as in one of the SOS schools. But one thing that is not, that we see the government moving so very slow about, is in terms of making sure that some of these things that you are talking about here, we see them practically happening. You know? Enye into, especially when you speak around issues of bringing the whole element of a technical schooling, one thing that we need to be looking into, the department is not visible in terms of advocacy work. Because you must understand some of these subjects that you are talking about here, they need a preparation from foundation level. You know, needs a serious preparation from the foundation level, but also the reach out programs there to as a department, they are not so much making that impact. One of the things that we want to seriously recommend, let's move away from this thing of making things events. We have these once-off events, then we have a gathering of this nature. Then 6 months down the line, it's a lull. And we want to make a clear practical recommendation that please use community radio station to interact and consult with the people. Because one thing that is also that we have picked up with the SOS, as in terms of the registration. The registration of the schools of specialization, we have been told and we've understood that is not going to be a general one like an ordinary secondary school. And it means that thing, we need to embark on a massive education so that our communities must understand. For instance, like we have Mohlodi as a school of maritime, or Molefe Oliphant as a school of maths and science. People must understand what are the requirements, because we say one thing that we have picked up is that there's going to be some assessment tests for learners to qualify. But that message, it must start now. We don't have to be so very reactive. We are becoming so reactive. The parents only learn to know, to understand that the qualification criteria for a learner to be admitted in this school is this, the following. So that thing tends to happen at the later stage. So those are some of the things that we want to recommend, that the department must seriously try to pick up your socks on that. One important issue, we must also be frank to each other here. The role of the district offices. Most of our district offices are under-resourced. They are there, but then their role, the impact that they're supposed to be doing, almost when we interact with them, now and then they'll keep on referring to the province. They'll keep on referring to the head office. We need also to consider some way of devolution of some of these functions.
And I'll summarize, Baba.
Basically, that's what I wanted just to highlight.
Okay.
Sharp.
May I please request community members that each member is allocated 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Angtin Baning? No. Okay. And I must appeal to those that raise their hand online, that will accommodate them after we dealt with the hands internally from the hall. I'm sure they will cooperate with us in this regard.
Greetings to the entire house. Comrade Chair, my name is Untiretse Khanabo, and I'm from an organization called SAMCO in the province, and it's led by Chris Malemacha. Kahudula Kitswamo Western area, and I'm under a public school, a normal public school. Now my questions are two. The first question is that, as the department, what are you doing about these former technical school learners, especially those who are going, maybe who end up failing their matric? Are they only special when they come to school, and then once they fail their matric, they are like any other kids? As the department, what are you doing about those learners? And then my second question was that I see we are here about technical schools because I'm from a public school. I wanted to find out, what is the department doing about our public schools where we don't have centers, ICT centers? I was working for a club called Orlando Pirates. I was teaching learners your basic computer skills, your Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, OneNote, Outlook, etc., etc. So the program was for learners who were doing grade 3 up to grade 10. And then from grade 11 to grade 12, we had a different program. And then we also had a program where we were teaching our community members your computer essential skills, like your tower, what is the components inside the tower, the screen and everything like that. So as the department, I don't see the budget. Let me just put it that way to say, what exactly are we doing about our public schools where we don't even have an ICT center?
Well, summarize.
I'm almost done. I'm almost done, Chair. And the second thing is that the nutrition in our schools, it's not good at all, especially our public schools. Bana ba tsholela kare ke dinonyane in our public schools. So I think I'll end up there because now I need to summarize. Thank you.
Olandelayo 3 minutes. Ngicela nizigade bantu bakithi ukuthi imizuzu ihamba kanjani. Because angithandi ukunikhuza. Siyabonga.
Dumelang le kae? Ke nna Sarah Mofokeng from Sedibeng West, from the Association of School Governing Bodies. My question is only one and straightforward. What is the criteria that the department has used to identify those schools to fall under technical? I just want to-
Akutli sinhle kupa ubuyele kodini.
the criteria department e sebedisitseng ho kgetha dikolo tseo ke efeng?
Okay.
Thank you.
Ba utlwile mme. Baphelela ngisho. Akekho umuntu engimshilo. Okay. There's yourself there. Who else? We're closing this side. You're the only one. Then I'll go online.
Good afternoon. I'm CS van der Nest. I'm from school in Pretoria, HTS Pretoria Tuine. I just want to ask the question about teacher development. Teachers that need to be trained before they come into the system. I saw a lot of training being done of existing teachers, but not teachers that want to come into the teaching profession. What is the engagement with the higher education departments to train technical teachers? Because we see there's a big problem concerning that we don't have enough teachers. Thank you.
Thank you, personnel. All the hands has been noted and we concluded with the hands now. I think it is very imperative that I allow the department to respond. Let's start with honorable member. Or honorable members are covered. Yeah. May we please allow the department, Superintendent General, or start with you, MEC? Let's start with esteemed Honorable MEC Chilwane, our MEC for, I'm being advised here. Oh, sorry, before we can respond, can you please help us to identify those that are online so that we deal with them collective? Allow them in that regard. Those that raise their hand. Is it? Yes, good day. You may please proceed. I think you are noted. The second speaker, you may advise who's that online? Or it was only one community member. It is an opportunity, maybe before MEC, can you please clap hands for yourself to appreciate the great question you have asked the department. Now it's an opportunity for us to allow the esteemed Honorable MEC for Gauteng Department of Education, Honorable MEC Chilwane. Thank you.
No, thank you, Chair. I'd rather give to Acting HOD. You want to start? I'll wrap it up.
The Superintendent General, can you please start as advised by the Honorable MEC?
Thank you.
DDG Alberts? Anderson. Oh, Anderson, I didn't see her earlier. You're welcome.
DDG Alison Bengtson has also joined. She's our head of curriculum. But I will start and then maybe request her and Antoinette Nicolai to come with the probably response to the last 3 or 4 questions. Let me start with the first one, which was raised in Meselepe. O bone Meselepe gore dikolo tse re di ntshitseng tse mo presentation ya rona di 115. Ke a utlwa o bolela ka Thembisa gore Thembisa o ka re ba e lebetse. Di two fela. Ne ke re ke a tlhalosa fela yalo ke re nore o ka re lebetse mara a ra e lebala. A ke re ke tse pedi. Tse pedi tseo ke yona the beginning. Re sa tlo gola. In fact, for us to be able to build a technical cohort of young people who will take us through this 4th industrial revolution and take our country to another level, we need more schools in the technical fields than we have now. Therefore, the 2 tse leng ko Tembisa le tse ntse ile mo nageng tse ding ke tshimologo mme. Ba re Roma ya agiwa ka letsatsi le lengwe. Re agile ka mengwaga e mentsi ka jalo re tsa kgato ka kgato. Ntse re tsamaya yalo re tlo fitla ko re yang ko teng. Ka ke monokeng ya gago le setšhaba re tlo fitla. Ka taba ya ho traina ma-teacher, o bone mo presentation ya rona re buile ka training of 139 teachers. In our teacher development program mo departmenting, every year ma-teacher ba identify ba batlang training. Therefore, these were the first group of teachers who were trained, I think in the last year, but every year ba romela gore ba ilo go lotsa kitso ya bona gore e re ba rotloetsa bana ba itse gore ba rotloetsa ke ma-teacherana le kitso e kgolo thata. E sa ruri morutabana wa lekana ka kitso le ngwana sekolo. Re Thabiso o butse potso ya environmental conditions in our communities. And the environment conditions tsa dikolo tsa rona, they are also determined by the way the community is looking after our schools. We can report, it's not in this particular report, Hori, most of our schools are getting vandalized. You saw even in this report, relaka vandalism. Vandalism in our department, relaka ho stopa ka ho dirisana le mapoisa a rona. Sekolo sengwe le sengwe se na le program e re bitsang adopt a cop. Re linkile sekolo le maponesa. Marantso le yalo dikolo tse tsa rona, they're getting vandalized. Recently we have also introduced the school wardens. Those school wardens di tlo diploa mo dikolong gore di kgone sireletsa dikolo tsa rona, di kgone go nna protected from batho ba ba senyang. And the advice, advocacy is well taken. We will ensure that a little bit we do in this particular field of work is known by the community, because re rata gore di newspaper le di radio se ya reporta fela ka dilo tse di tswileng tseleng, report ka the positive contribution this glorious and caring government is doing and delivering to our people. I'll leave the last one about what is happening about learners who are emanating or finishing school with matric from these technical schools. What are we doing about them? I need to announce that Maubani Heribuayan, our MEC Matumeshilwan, launched a program of 460 million. Ilobano is targeting not only general matric graduates, but also matriculants from these technical schools, Baba Tsunzbaye Dikolonza, University of Technology, le TVET colleges. Magiateng, Banaba Valenteng, Bakopane department through our Institute of Gauteng City Region Academy to apply for these bursaries. Last year, Rajira sent Lekatabaya, Banabaya, and TVET colleges. This year, we have dedicated budget to ensure that we support Banaba Konova technical TVET colleges and University of Technology so that they can give us the technical skills which we require. And soon, our MEC will be announcing a program in the local premier office at CEPO 1 million. CEPO 1 million is targeting our youth in terms of job opportunities, but also development in technical skills. And we want to ensure that that particular program is implemented and expanded so that we can make an impact in the province of Gauteng. I would like, Chairperson, through your permission, to allow DDG Allison to come in from the curriculum perspective and Nikolai also to fill in some of the gaps.
Advocate Anderson, you may come here.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chairperson and honorable members, MEC, and all of the stakeholders who are here and officials, principals who are here. Let me start with the first one, which was a proposal. It's the one around the fact that our advocacy is not continuous. And we think that's an excellent proposal to us, and we will certainly take it up, so that we make sure not only on technical high schools, but also on the schools of specialization, around the admission criteria, but also around those schools. What is it that they actually offer? So we're certainly going to take that up. It's a good suggestion. And we will link up with our communications team as well to assist us with accessing the local radio stations so that we can share more information. The question around what are we doing about learners who fail? What support are we, or how are we able to support those learners? We do have a second chance program, and in the department we've got about 20 centers in the department, and so that the learners have an extra opportunity, additional opportunity to improve or to pass, to get to pass the subjects that they failed. So they would write in the month of June. In fact, we're busy with that exam at the moment. So there are opportunities. It's not lost for the learners. There are opportunities for the learners to participate in the second chance program. And we provide support, which is the important part. So there are centers where they are able to go and get these lessons, support lessons, so that they can participate meaningfully. The question around criteria to have a school becoming a technical high school, well, if a school wants to introduce, I think the acting HOD spoke about the establishment of a brand new technical high school. That would take, it's capital intensive. So what we are trying to do through the program that the acting chief director spoke about, where we're wanting to take out of the 113 schools, 11 of them are full technical high schools. The other 102, those are the schools, because those schools are what we call comprehensive schools. They are offering technical subjects and they're offering academic subjects. Now we want to be able to go through a process of transitioning those schools to become full technical high schools. And that's why we are introducing the VOC, the vocationally orientated curriculum, in grade 8 and 9, so that those learners can make informed choices. And we want them to choose the technical subjects, thereby having a situation where they eventually phase out the academic subjects, and the schools now sit with just the technical subjects besides the compulsory subjects that they have to do. Because we do want to increase participation, the enrollment in technical subjects. So for a school, if they want to introduce technical subjects, they have to apply to the department 18 months in advance, so that we are able to assess whether they have the requisite resources and infrastructure to be able to cater for the subject that they want to introduce. And for us to be able to plan within our budgeting cycle to be able to support those schools. So they have to apply 18 months in advance. So there's no, and I think Acting Chief Director, when you presented, we actually showed a number of schools that have applied to introduce technical subjects, additional technical subjects in their schools. And we would gladly approve that. But they just need to apply 18 months in advance so that we can make sure that the requisite support is provided. On teacher development, the question around teacher development, well, I think you were talking about initial teacher education for the teachers who are not yet in the system, whilst they're at university and so on. The National Department is engaging with the higher education institutions around that, because they need to align their own training around the curriculum that the National Department is driving at the moment, in particular around the three-stream model. So that is certainly on the table. In fact, we've just come from a 3-day think tank workshop with the National Department, and this aspect was raised sharply there as well. Ma'am, the principal of Springs Technical High School, you are asking why are you not in the pilot? The pilot is, it's a national pilot, and we had to implement it in 20 schools. So obviously the team had made a selection of schools across the province. But you needn't worry, as we've indicated, we are going to roll it out from a provincial perspective now. Out of our funds, we still have to ask for the funds, but out of the, we are going to roll it out in all of the technical high schools that we have, so that we can cater for, so that we can introduce it in grade 8. So that we can introduce it in grade 8 and 9. Thank you, Chairperson.
I didn't know that you can also understand Tswana and Zulu. But before I give the esteemed Honorable MEC, I want all of us, Reshapele Matso, the superintendent general and the advocate Anderson. Can we do that again? Now kina kwa ya gore ke MEC wa rona. It says okay. No. You may proceed, MEC. Thank you.
I just wanted to greet, because I have not spoken. You know how you, when you go somewhere in a meeting, and then the tabalize, but that go on our toes. So, but overall, I think the HOD and the DDG LSN covered ground. What I would appeal for is maybe, a bit of patience. We've identified schools. The key is to make it, once we move, we get it right. I'm not one for Razama. It doesn't assist. I think where we are, we need to get it right as and when we move. So that when we come back, when we do an assessment, we're doing it on something that we did right and we're able to account for it. So the questions have been answered. I think there's nothing wrong with assessment. I don't know, maybe I misunderstood the question, or why are we assessing learners, or communication thereof. Schools of specialization are our flagship schools as a province. They call them focus schools elsewhere in the world. And from those schools, we want what you call creme de la creme. Yeah, best of the best from our own system, from Banabaron. So if we when we put these assessments, it's not to say we want to discriminate. But if the school of specialization, it's mathematics. if you can't survive mathematics, you want maths literacy, you know, you are in the wrong space. As an example. So that's why we're putting all these assessments. We've got sports school of assessment, sports school of specialization rather. When we assess, we also check the fitness because we want to produce stars in those particular schools. Earlier on, we were at the Rosina Sidiban in Tshwane, part of the Netball World Cup Trophy Tour. And we had learners who are playing for the South African national team, netball team, who are from our province, from our schools. And they were saying that, you know, having such schools, I'm sure we could have had more. We could have occupied the whole squad. So that's why we look at those things in the school of specialization where if it's sports, you need to be fit. You know, you need some form of reference from, you know, we are harnessing talent in these schools. So don't see it as a discriminatory item or idea that we need to do assessments. Its purpose is to produce the best. Okay, I don't know. Okay, the roles of districts. You say they're undercapacitated. Is that what you said? Under-resourced. Well, it depends. Maybe we should have asked for clarity. What do you mean? Financially resourced or human capital under-resourced? You know. So maybe perhaps if it's human capital, maybe you have a point there because we wish that we can employ enough, but you understand the constraints within the budget and what the resources in government. Currently, we just passed our budget and majority of that budget is going to salaries already, to the tune of 72%. And that's very high. So meaning that it leaves so little to deal with infrastructure, to deal with LTSM, you know, to deal with school nutrition. We need to deal with school nutrition. We need to do scholar transport with whatever tininess left, and also support these programs that we want. So if it's human capital, we always say to them that you have to work very hard. Let's consider this as a calling. You are doing the Lord's work. So if you have to work very hard, then, you know, work extra hours. You'll be rewarded in heaven. So please, you know, we understand that aspect. But if it's an issue of not getting the said service in the districts, then you also have a point there. That you are not receiving service when you go to the districts, you are not receiving joy. Perhaps it's the capacity within from within whoever you are engaging, the administrator there that is there, also then it's also a different. But everything is work in progress. But so far we've been managing, we've got very good district directors across who are very accountable. So if you are not finding joy with any official, you can go right straight to the district director's office. You don't even need an appointment. You must just tell them, the MEC said, I don't need an appointment to come and talk to you. You know, because they are there to serve, but to bill is a principle of government. So we can't work on appointments. So you have that particular right to do that. Yeah, but overall, I think all the key questions have covered it by the HOD and acting HOD and the DDG and advocate, Benston. So, yeah, thank you, Chair.
Re leboge support ya lona. Baie dankie vir u bystand. To deal with the to deal with the challenges of burglaries and vandalism of school workshops, the Department of Education have the solution to mitigate through CCTV systems. To deal with the challenges of low learner interest in pursuing technical vocational career pathways, the Department of Education have a solution to open doors for all the learners that want to pursue their career. To deal with the negative perception and stereotypes about the technical education, the department have a solution to encourage all our students, especially those that have maths and science, to attend to this technical institution. To deal with the issues of disparities between technical education and the needs of industry, because technical education must be linked to the entrance to industries. The department have a platform for all of you. To deal with the mismatch of learners admitted at technical schools as cognitive demands of technical subjects are high, the department, it's your lead department. To deal with the perspective, I think we dealt with the issues of perception of the technical careers are for the learners who perform poorly in mathematics and physical science. The Department of Education will carry you under the MSc Shilwan. To deal with the technical high school strategy, and I'm sure this was developed and informed by scientific analysis to support and develop our great education system. To strengthen the technical capability, it gives me a great pleasure, I must say, to thank you very much, esteemed Honorable MEC, honorable members who came through to Krugersdorp and the community of Krugersdorp and those that are online. How can I forget the Superintendent General, the DDGs, and the CFO, and all that are here? Especially our community, Batwam go Tembisa, go Rand West, go Sidibeng, Arba Chapele Mazova twice. We must say that the support of the technical schools contribute to the development of education, specialized in that area. And we know, and I repeat, I said it this earlier, Honorable MEC, that the presentation, the response by the department, it's way above and beyond our expectations and satisfaction as the honorable members. We must say that all of us, the community that are here before us, as a critical stakeholders, the department, MEC and the department, and all of ourselves, honorable members, who sometimes we do conduct robust oversight, we must work together in the interest of our learners. And I'm sure the MEC indicated about the contested strains of financial resources, because you can see there's no alignment of both CAPEX and OPEX within the department. We have to work together to make sure that with little resources, we are turning our countries around, we are building a future skilled workforce that the industries needs going forward. On behalf of the Portfolio Committee, I must thank the department for really, again, MEC, they are stabilizing the finances, they are responsive to the issues affecting our people, and I'm sure department iyabonakala ne portfolio sebenza sonke sikona egrounding. I must say that I was saying it earlier again, I must repeat it.